Well, hello and welcome into the BarkyMaclovinFC football channel where we talk all things MFL, Sorare and much more. And today's video is going to be looking at our agency and a bit of a mid-season 7 update to see if we are able to be playing sustainably. Is this going well? Are my plans actually working? Are we getting the results we want? Are our players progressing? In the previous video, we talked about the whole concept of playing sustainably. That is, can we actually invest once into our clubs and have the clubs producing players to help us move up the leaderboard and to continue playing the game? But if you're new to MFL and wondering what this is all about, MFL is an online football manager game. It is one of the best I've played, and I've played since the 90s. A range of Football Manager, Premier League Manager, you name it, I've probably played it. And this has got to be my favourite game so far. And it is just such an immersive experience. There's so many things you can do, so many ways you can play, and it's a really cool way of playing an online Football Manager game. And if it sounds like something you're interested in, then there's a referral link in the description below. That gets you a free common player when signing up after purchasing packs from the marketplace. Helps us out here on the channel as well. And you know what? If you reach out to me and let me know on Discord, BarkyMaclovin on Discord, that you've signed up using this link, we'll give you that common player for free because I just think this game is that good. So let's dive into our agency and see how we're going midway through Season 7. Now, at the start of each season, the projections come out through a website called MFL Manager, and if you haven't used that already, again, I'll put a link in the description. But basically our Iron team, which is our strongest team, the one that we're really wanting to progress, to feed all our players up through the system to, was projected 10th. So I'm just going to bring this up on the screen right now. You'll see we're projected 10th, and at the time of recording, we've just picked up a win this morning against 10th place Josset Academy, and actually we're in 3rd place in the promotion playoffs, which is absolutely outrageous. You know, this team is a mix of my own players and players that I've loaned in from various different managers, and to be projected 10th and to be sitting in 3rd, I think just shows that the strategy is working really well. Definitely formation has done a little bit to that, but we've managed to pick up players with probably higher attributes than what they actually overall represent. And that's one way of playing sustainably, I think, is to not just target overall rating, because you're going into divisions and, you know, you're only going to have 1 or 2 differences in overall rating for most divisions at the higher level. And so actually targeting attributes that you want for particular positions or the way you want to play. You know, we play a 4-3-3 defense mainly, and so targeting fast wingers is really important for that. You know, a nice physical striker, physical midfielders who can dominate that midfield battle, and then obviously looking at other stats for defenders as well. And so playing this way has helped us really, I think, move up the leaderboard. Now, the one thing that you've got to realize is the higher you get up in divisions, the more difficult it is going to be able to do a league competition at the same time as a club, a cup competition. And so you'll see that we've suffered a little bit in the Rivals Cup, unlucky on a couple of draws and not quite making it through to the group stage, or out of the group stage. But, you know, to be sitting in at 3rd, we've still got to play 11th and 12th in the next couple of games. You know, we could set ourselves up really nicely for not only a great league position, maybe even a promotion run, but the main thing, which is a higher amount of MFL coming into the club. And Padre is probably expected where we thought we would be. The fact that we've scored 4 goals, I think, is kind of a minor miracle. But unfortunately, this club was just never going to be competitive, with the majority of our players going in to La Pulga. This is a combined club with my old man. We really needed to make sure that at least I prioritise La Pulga and make sure that we got this club to a level that we think we can be sustainable at. And so we think that level is stone. So unfortunately, we couldn't play it as competitively as we liked. However, we did target the cup, and you'll see here that we actually got 5 wins of the cup, which is an amazing amount of MFL coming in, and we're through the round of 16 already, haven't lost, 20 goals scored, and actually 2 of our players are the top scorers, or top 5 scorers in that tier. So it's a really good way of targeting some MFL. Again, we couldn't be competitive in the league, but we prioritised the cup, and it's so far paid off. You know, that cup progress has already netted us 600 MFL, which is basically another common pack just for targeting the cup. And so it's a great way of, I think, playing sustainably by being able to target the cup competitions. And we've done that pretty successfully with a number of our clubs. Our 2 ice teams, Guamata's Eagles MFC and Kent, again, are pretty strong in the league. We're projected 6th here, and you can see we've got a nice consolidated position in 5th. Again, not too far off 3rd and 4th position. We did lose, unfortunately, to the 3rd place team this morning. Otherwise, it would have been nice to be in a bit of a playoff push for these guys. We managed to do quite well in the cup of 2 wins, which is 140 extra MFL. Unfortunately, not quite enough to make it through to the round of 16. Whereas if we're looking at Kent Marauders, you'll see that we were projected 11th, But we've already had 3 cup wins as well as a progression to the round of 16. That's earned us 460 MFL, which again is close to a common pack player. And at the same time, we're actually in 8th position in the league. And so we look pretty safe here. We've got a couple of tough games coming up around the similar level of us. We could be getting as high as 5th or 4th here if we pick up a couple of wins. The reality is we're probably looking to be about 7th or 8th and avoid that relegation down to Spark or the relegation playoffs. And both of these ICE clubs are around trying to use the players that we've progressed from our Spark teams. So we've got the 6 Spark teams, which are feeder clubs, going up into our ICE teams. And if we can develop those ICE teams and progress them up the table, not only are we increasing the strength of them, getting good results and a chance to promote the club, we're actually earning a lot more MFL as well. And so it's a nice way of using them for progression mainly, but using that to promote up the table. But the main part of our focus around Season 7 was about playing sustainably, and the way I saw this working was by having Spark teams at a fairly competitive level, basically strong enough to not get relegated, and continue to progress and try and progress players, earn MFL, replace players in each system, selling when someone's sort of, broken out of that tier of players that we'd use in Spark, reinvesting that money back in the team and kind of playing each club as its own identity. And Barky Boys FC is absolutely the crowning glory of that so far. Now, in the past 2 seasons, we've projected pretty low in the table, managed to outperform, and at the same time, we've won back-to-back cups. This season, I could not have asked for it to go any better. We're seeing a heap of progression across the board, and I'll take you through that shortly. But we're projected 6th in this league, and you can see we're in a pretty strong position in 3rd. We picked up another good win this morning, and then obviously you can see coming up after the cup game, a really tough match against the 4th in the table. But again, winning that is going to consolidate us a promotional playoff push, which is pretty outrageous considering we're only ranked 6th going into the season. And the nice thing as well is we've managed to pick up 5 wins in the cup. And the only loss came when I basically rotated to prioritise a league match. We've only conceded 2 goals the entire time. We've got our round of 16 game coming up shortly. And you can see that's earned us 465 MFL. Now, just from 5 wins in a progression to the round of 16, that's almost earned an extra full common player pack that we can again open or resell and then reinvest into the team. And you can see that projected MFL from where we're sitting is almost 2,500, which again could even go into a limited player, and which would really strengthen the team. And so I think this whole perspective of starting in Spark and trying to progress this way is a really successful and good way to do it. And at the same time as all of this, we're setting up our teams around a similar overall level. Now, the aim with this is that it's going to help us with training in particular, where we're not having too much of a penalty for our top 16 players. There's not too many players that are over the overall level that are going to skew, not get as much training XP. But also, there's enough of a sort of a drop down where most of our players are going to get close to 100%. And if we just look at progression for the current season, you'll see that we've had 2 +3s, and both are Huysmans are CDM and Shibuya are centre mid. 4 +2s, which again, both strikers is really good, and a left winger, and then a number of +1s as well. We've had 2 tier breaks, which is just outstanding, and even in these guys down here like Slavic, Fightinger, Kryzen, De Ruyter, there's still some progression happening. We just haven't had any +1s yet. So again, if we can do this each season, progressing players by 1 or 2, the aim is that the Spark clubs will move up the table as they get stronger. The strongest teams will promote out of the league. We should hopefully have some teams dropping down. I don't see Spark getting any more difficult over the next couple of seasons, to be perfectly honest. Most people, if they've got a bit of money or cash, are wanting to buy in above that so they can progress a bit quicker. And I also don't see too much relegation happening. We're not seeing them as big of influx of users as we have in previous seasons. And so that's allowing, us to maybe even finish 11th in some places and hopefully keep our Spark clubs up in Spark. And to make sure that we do stay up as well, I do need to, though, avoid that 12th position. And Barky Boys Academy, yesterday at least, and I was a bit worried about this recording, we're sitting bottom of the table. But I actually did something that I think is really, really vital in mid-season, and that is going into the loans market. And again, most of my Spark clubs are first-owned players or players that we've got out of packs or bought from the marketplace, so we're not giving any rev share to anyone else. We're wanting to progress them, we're wanting to give them game time. But at the same time, I do want to keep clubs in Spark. I think Flint at the moment is just not enough rewards for us to be sustainable having lots of Flint clubs. We do really want those teams in Spark. And knowing that there's not a lot of relegation, hopefully, if we sort of finish that 10th or 11th, as I said, we can stay up. Now, Barky Boys yesterday were bottom of the table. And Seablades, if you'll be watching, but we played Seattle Mustangs, and you can see our league form has been pretty atrocious. And even the last time we played them, we drew 1-1. I don't think we got a win even from like the start of the season, against Leeds. It's been pretty atrocious, and I've been trying to focus on the Cup. The nice thing is we have progressed to the round of 16 in the Cup, and we did get 5 wins. So, we're focusing on the Cup, but at the same time, I don't want to relegate. So what it is, I went out to the loans market, and I looked for somebody 5% revenue share or lower, and tried to find the strongest striker I possibly could. And this morning, in good form, maybe we'll call it some content creator luck, he is a 66 rated uncommon striker. We got him for 5% revenue, no contract share or anything like that. He's got a goal on debut, and we win 2-0. And again, is that enough to keep us up? Only time will tell for the end of the season. But that was an amazing example of just using a little bit of sort of loan market action to make sure that we keep this team up. And the other thing as well is now we've got a really, really high rated striker for our Cup competition. And we're giving up 5% revenue, but you can see that 395 MFL here from the 5 Cup wins in the round of 16 is only projecting us to lose under about 80 revenue so far to that player that we've loaned in. So we've managed to get a league progression place. We're hopefully keeping up in Spark. Now we're probably going to have a deeper Cup run than we previously had, and it might only cost us 150 MFL. So in my mind, that's a really good payoff, and that's something you could maybe focus next season as you target certain competitions. Another team we managed to do this well with is Barky Boys Reserves. We projected 7th, sitting in 7th currently, but a little bit of room to move up and down. Pretty safe from those relegation spots, but we've made it through to the Cup. Now, the amazing thing about this is we only picked up 2 wins and a draw, but managed to sneak over the line, and now we're into the last round of 16. And you can see that is another 280 MFL so far, again increasing that up to almost 3 common pack worths of MFL, which we can again reinvest in the club, either buy an $8 or $9 player, or maybe open the common packs and try and progress that way. Early on, we're again through to the last 16 of the Cup, and all of these Spark teams, we're trying to prioritise that Cup but keep them safe, and you can see we're pretty safe from the last couple of spots. Only 11-team league, which is a bit frustrating for a progression point of view, but it's nice to see that we managed to pick up 3 wins and 3 draws, go undefeated in the Cup through to the round of 16, and again, that's an increase now of 340 MFL, projecting over those 3 common packs. So overall, we're projecting for a number of different teams to replace 2 or 3 players at a common level, and hopefully as they start progressing and getting into our teams, we can progress them enough so that they're replacing players in our team. We're not having to go out to the market to buy them. We're able to use the MFL from clubs to replace players. And just going back to the idea of progression, people ask me why you go into common players. They're so low, they're not going to be able to strengthen your teams. Well, this is a great example of a player who is absolutely flying at the moment. So Mariano Pons, we packed straight out of a pack. And in his last season, he went up +9 in his first season. Now, he got stuck a little bit in a tear break, didn't progress beyond that. And since he's tear broken partway through this season, he's gone up another +6. So in 2 seasons, from the age of 23 to now 24, he's +15 as a common. So, a very low-rated, 45-rated common centre-back. Now he's at amazing stats, even for his rating. His pace is creeping up. He's 70 physical and 68 passing already. And every one of those defense attribute points that increases from now, he's essentially going to get a +1. And, he could easily go to rare over the next couple of seasons, and we'll keep tracking his progress on the videos as well. And another success story was actually Barky Boys Dev Squad, and we were able to test a couple of different formations by running 10 clubs. And the formation that we tested for this club here is absolutely working a dream. You'll see here that we were actually projected 12th, and our current league position is all the way up in 8th. Managing to pick up a draw this morning against another relegation playoff potential, and unfortunately that was at the expense of the Cup. So we've had to sort of prioritise league position, knowing that we've been projected 12th, and that has though helped us to 1300 MFL so far for the season, and hopefully project a bit more after that as well. And we've applied the same strategy to Barky Boys Academy to Barky Boys Next Gen. And again, I was sitting bottom of the table before this morning. We were playing 10th position. I was getting a bit worried about that relegation spot. So we went out into the loan market. I think for this one we got a 0% contract as well with 5% rev share. We put him in day one. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We have picked up a win against Wine Lovers. 2-0. Again, playing the same formation. But knowing that we needed a few more goals, and he has picked up a goal on debut, Markovic, and we've managed to win this game 2-0. So, knowing that there's lots of different ways of strengthening and improving things, just going out and getting a high-rated striker, particularly when we're not scoring goals, is a great way of sort of guaranteeing a couple extra ways of doing that. And the nice thing for this one as well is they actually played, as far as I can see, a pretty full rotation squad against us, thinking that we're bottom of the table, and we've taken full advantage of that and beaten them 2-0 to move out of 12th spot. And the final club is Barky Boys Utrecht. This is our Flint division, and to be perfectly honest, this Flint division is almost as strong as some of our Spark leagues, and we're managing to avoid that last place, but it's not really earning us too much more MFL, and we didn't really get the best cup run. I think Nep's Golden Oldies beat us on the last day, which removed any chance of us progressing. And, really this team here is the one that is going to benefit the most from our rewards. Every other club seems to be doing well and is able to progress players and probably stay in that Spark League from this season onwards. But Barky Boys Utrecht is the one that really needs to start generating some stronger players. And there's a chance actually to go in next season with the amount of MFL that's coming in with Flint. You'll see here that even with a league position of 11th, after we projected 11th, it's only 655 MFL. It's only really a common player pack, and that's not really going to be sustainable for a club. And so the idea with this one here is maybe we actually try and go into the loan market next season, try and get as strong a team as possible, and just promote the club. We're not going to be giving up too much MFL. Even if we give up 50% and have a couple of strong players from our team, that's going to at least allow us to be competitive and try and move this club quicker to then get higher projected MFL from next season being in Spark. But overall, the strategy is working very, very well. It's a way to play sustainably. There's a high investment cost to start doing this, to have 10 clubs, to get the number of players we've had. But now we can start moving players on, trying to reinvest, using the rewards to generate some revenue, get some things back, play at that point of, breaking even, and again, try and progress that Iron team and feed players through that Iron team to progress up the leaderboard and up the divisions. Of course, with all great things, there is a chance for a bit of failure, and I hope after this video, things don't start turning on its head. But after I announced that I was doing this video, we've got some great results, and La Pulga pulling off in a fantastic 4-1 win this morning. So long may it continue, long may the progression continue, and we'll see you all in the next one.